Certainly needs no introduction, but Paul Orndorff does have something that he feels needs to be said.
That's right. Let me tell you something right now. Everybody knows out there by now what happened. Everybody knows that I had a title match with Ted DiBiase, and that Bob Roop, supposedly my friend, just like Ted DiBiase said about him, he's no good, he's a coward, he's a backstabber, and I'll tell you what, DiBiase, you said one thing that was true, and it's that. But Bob Roop is the man that deliberately got my core wire out of my car so I couldn't make this to have my title shot. Well, let me tell you something, Roop. It was my plan to start with me and Akbar. We all four got together. The one-man gang, Roop and myself. I should have walked out of that ring. It should have been my match. It should have been my belt. Well, let me tell you something right now, Mr. Bob Roop. You have messed with the wrong man, my man, because when I get upset, things happen. And I don't care, Bob Roop, where it's at, when, and how. Because when I step into that ring with you, you got something to belong at me. The only reason I stay in the Mid-South area is to be the North American champion. And I've been gypped out of it 2 times now. Jake Roberts and now Mr. Bob Roop, so supposedly my friend. Well, what he done is he used my muscle and my ability. He used his brains to only benefit himself. Well, I can assure you, Mr. Bob Roop, I know what kind of a man you are. And boy, let me tell you something. You're gonna wish this day had never came. Because when I get in that ring with you, sooner or later, you're gonna have to face me. Because when you do, I'm gonna kick your booty from one end of this ring and to the other. Because I will be the North American champion, one way or the other.
There you have it.
Boy, those are some very strong words from a very angry man. Of course, you talked to Paul Orndorff last week, and he was very upset, very distraught. Matchmaker Grizzly Smith thought he would have calmed down a little bit in the interlude. However, he has not. I think definitely we have not heard the last from Paul Orndorff and Bob Roop. That's going to be a tremendous confrontation.
And knowing Paul Orndorff's temper, he'll be really after Bob Roop. You can mark that down in your book right now. The first match is in the ring. Let's go for the introduction.
This event is for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the red corner at 243 pounds from Tampa, Florida, a former North American heavyweight champion, Paul Orndorff. And at 234 pounds from Pango, Coco Samoa.
And the introduction, Coco Samoa versus the man we've been talking about, the man that's talking to us, Paul Orndorff. Jack Howell, the referee, and called for the bell. Jim?
Boy, I don't know a lot about Coco Samoa other than he's a very quick and agile individual, but the fans all know a lot about Paul Orndorff, and I think that the look, the intent, the look in his eyes, facial expression, he's a very intense person at this point in time, and I think he's got right now. He may be in the ring with Coco Samoa, but I'd almost bet you money that he's thinking about Bob Roop right now. Coco Samoa very quick, and, you know, boy, there may be a point to think about here. Coco Samoa may have a little advantage from the standpoint that Orndorff may be thinking too much about Bob Roop and underestimate his very tough opponent in the ring.
Very easy. Look ahead to some opponent or some particular game, as in the sports that you have announced and been associated with, waited with so long. You've seen it, and you're just exactly right. He could be looking ahead and have a handful right here in the form of Coco Samoa.
You know, Paul Orndorff is a very intense person outside the ring as well, and one thing I know that he has talked about, I've talked with him on occasion, the North American Heavyweight Championship means more to that man than I guess any possession that he could have in his lifetime. And, you know, he's made it public that that's the reason he's here, is to win the championship. And it's just a tremendous thing to look at a man with that much ability. And he's so obsessed with that belt, and I think he'll do anything he can to get his chance to win that championship. Notice right there, boy, that Orndorff's timing is off somewhat. Perhaps he is thinking about Bob Roop.
Jim, last week I was telling him about your educational qualifications from Northeastern University and Oklahoma State University, but just in the form of an old country boy like me, I'm going to tell you what it boils down to. Paul Orndorff has a burning obsession in his heart for that North American Heavyweight Championship.
I think it's very well put. I think you're exactly right. Of course, these two men have they were close friends at one time. It really upsets anyone for a close friend to turn on them. And look at this maneuver here.
neck right across that top strand of the rope. There's a steel cable inside.
Orndorff ready to open up now, become very vicious. I think he's got his mind back on where it should have been to begin with, and that's on this tough opponent, Coco Samoa. Those forearms right across the solar plexus. This man has got to be in great condition. I'm talking about Samoa, because a lesser man would certainly have been out for the 3 count after those 2 maneuvers that Orndorff executed. I think Orndorff, Boyd, feels that he may be at the crossroads of his career. He needs a major championship. He needs to become he likes the spotlight. He likes to see his name in newspapers and magazines. And the way you get that way, the way you make a lot of money, as we all know in wrestling, is to be a champion. That's where his obsession lies.
Well, and it's in his heart. It's burned him because he recalled the time when something happened between he and Jake Roberts, knocked him out of it. Now looking at Bob Roop right here in the present. So see, he just can't forget it. It's right there all the time before him.
The hangman coming out of the corner, and Samoa walked right into that corner, and now Orndorff definitely has the advantage. Orndorff going for the kill here real quick. That power slam, that should be it, Boyd.
Paul Orndorff takes the victory of Coco Samoa. We'll be back. Buddy Landell versus the new North American Heavyweight Champion Bob Roop after this word from Mid-South Wrestling.